The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili on this edition of The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise. As you get older, do you have all your important paperwork prepared? What do you need to do? Find out from the team at PB Elderlaw. Looking for a unique, low-cost, low-maintenance lifestyle? You might want to move up to Rock Oak. And if you're looking to slim down for the warmer weather, our guest from Diet Mentor has some great tips on how you can look your best. All on this edition of The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise. I'm Joe Chili, mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Whack. Joining us on The Big Whack's Buffalo on the Rise today is Dan Schuler. And Dan, let me make sure that I get this right, because I usually just say PB Elderlaw, but it's Pfaltzgraff, Beinhauer, Greer, Harris, Schuler, LLP. I got it right?
You got it, correct.
Okay, and PB Elderlaw is just kind of the easier way to
Absolutely.
To say. We gave everybody credit, though, today, so you can go back to the office and tell them we're in good shape.
Appreciate it.
Sure. You know, we're talking a little bit today about Medicaid application. First off, you know, I've mentioned this before. I don't know whoever came up with this. It's not you guys. But why come up with something called Medicare and then something called Medicaid? Because they're so close, you know, just only in name, because they're totally different entities.
Correct.
Can you explain to me a little bit what's the difference?
Sure. So Medicare is a form of insurance that you get when you turn 65. And if you have a hospitalization, your underlying health insurance, like Blue Cross, whomever your health insurance coverage may be, would cover that. If you are discharged to a facility for rehab, like PT, OT, Medicare is your coverage source, and it provides up to 100 days of coverage for that type of therapy. If you require further care, like a nursing home, that's where Medicaid comes in. So Medicaid is an eligibility-based payor source for those large nursing home bills, which on average run between $15,000 and $20,000 a month.
So when you prepare for Medicaid, or, you know, I guess I'm thinking about the fact that I haven't had to do this yet, but it's something that's looming. You know what I mean? Won't be that far ahead. But I think of it this way. People like to try to Google everything nowadays. This isn't something that you can just Google or DIY. You really need help with this, and what's the difference between an individual, like for instance, I use the example, do I want to have my neighbor do my income tax, or do I want to have my accountant do my income tax? So what's the difference between having a layperson or someone that the nursing home suggests maybe that you go to, and going to an attorney, a PB Elderlaw attorney, for instance?
So first and foremost, Medicaid is a very complex area. There's a lot of administrative and regulatory rules that apply. So therefore, you need someone who does this stuff all the time. It's not something that you want someone to handle it that just dabbles in this a little bit. There's different rules based upon whether you're a single individual applying, whether you have a married spouse in the community, whether you have a disabled child. So there's all different concepts that apply when an attorney is evaluating what needs to be done to qualify you. So the reason that I would suggest that you have an attorney do your Medicaid application for you is, in my view, the practice or the submission of a Medicaid application is the practice of law. There are things that need to be done from a legal standpoint to help someone qualify, things that only an attorney can do. So for example, I often hear radio ads, commercials from other advertisers saying, non-attorney advertisers saying, come to us, we can get you everything you're entitled to. That's not accurate. They can get you everything you're entitled to from the eligibility standpoint, meaning you're minimally allowed to have X amount of dollars, so they can spend you down to that threshold. We can do more than that, though. If there are clients that come to us with more money than the eligibility regulations allow for, there are still legal planning techniques that only a lawyer can implement that may result in an additional 50% savings to the person's family. That's something a non-attorney cannot do. So that's really the big distinction and the reason why you need an attorney preparing your Medicaid application for you.
Okay, so Dan, when we talk about an advocate, the attorney is more like an advocate for you.
Correct.
I mean, if you, and I don't know if this is the case, but suppose you have a nursing home that has somebody that works with them and maybe they get a kickback or a fee or something from the nursing home. Then you begin to wonder, is this person advocating for me? Are they not? You know, so I guess there's things, and I might be way outside of my bounds in saying things like that, but you wonder about things, you know, of that nature. And then the other thing you wonder about is, you know, how long do you have to actually get paperwork together and file, and what happens if you do it wrong?
Well, both good points. So as an attorney, when a client hires us, our obligation is to the client and to the client only. So our role, once the client retains us, is to provide the best service and to get the client the best result we can without negatively impacting their rights. So unequivocally, that's where our loyalty lies. As far as timing, there are deadlines by which you want to submit based upon the client's financial situation. Late submissions can result in the client potentially having to privately pay the facility when they don't have any money before Medicaid kicks in.
And we're talking thousands and thousands of
$15,000
dollars.
to $20,000 a month.
Okay.
So if you have a client who is eligible, but you wait more than a statutory period of time to submit, that client may not get Medicaid coverage for the time period that has lapsed. They may have to come out of pocket. Now you have a frustrated nursing home because they're not getting paid. The client has no money, and Medicaid's not going to pay yet. You also have scenarios where an application is submitted. Oftentimes it could take between 4 to 6 months to get a decision out of the county on that application. If that application gets denied at the end of 6 months, nobody pays, Medicaid does not pay back to the date of submission. So now you have a client with a 6-month gap where the nursing home is looking for the family to pay. No one has any money. So depending on what happened with the money that the application got denied, they could start looking at family members for contributions. That's where you get into lawsuits. Those are things an attorney can prevent, though, because we evaluate the case from the onset, and we have a pretty good understanding once we get through all the financials the client provides, where the potential problems may lie and how we can fix those, short of just getting a denial notice.
All right, and we've only got about a minute left, but there's also a differentiation when they say, you know, you can pay down. You know, paying down is kind of an idea that maybe people don't want to do. I mean, they've worked their entire life for this. Why should I pay down? If there's a way that you can save me from doing that, then I'm going to want to talk to you about that.
Correct.
Right?
So a spend down means, simply put, you are spending your money either on a few eligible exemptions that are available, or you are paying the nursing home until you are down to the eligibility threshold. We can do more than that. If there's money to be spent down, oftentimes we can save about 50% of that money for the family without having to just pay it all to a facility.
All right, Dan, thank you. For more information and answers to your questions, contact PB Elderlaw by calling 716-204-1055 or go to pbelderlaw.com. Sponsorship and promotional considerations for the preceding segment was provided by the following. Hi, I'm Joe Chilling, mornings from 7 to 9 at Buffalo's oldie station, the Big Wack. Joining us on the Big Wack's Buffalo on the Rise today is Noel Dill, who is the Vice President of Rock Oak, also a partner. Noel, welcome.
Well, thanks for having me, Joe.
Glad to have you here today. We've heard a lot on the radio station, of course, when we're working with regard to Rock Oak, and I've done a lot of commercials myself, but maybe you can explain to our viewing audience what exactly Rock Oak is.
Yeah, absolutely. Rock Oak is a senior community. Factory-built homes. We're located right in the heart of Main Street in Clarence, so right across from Spalding Lake. And we offer single-level floor plans so that, you know, as you get older, you can age in place. And, you know, we say happiness is a single story.
That's right, and that can be taken in a couple of ways, couldn't it? A single story. You know, I think that's interesting because, you know, I know that when you become of age, like myself, you know, people, if they have a home, the kids are gone, you know, they've got all this extra space, you're cleaning, you're maintaining, or, oh, guess what? The boiler that was put in 1970, it's gone. You know what I mean? So you have all these things you have to deal with, but the concern is always, I'm going to sell my home and make a good price on it, but we all know what's happening with the price of property and real estate now. It just seems to be going up and up and up. So is there going to be a plus side for me to do this?
Well, that is actually the challenge that people face right now. They're like, wow, I can't believe how much my home is worth, especially they remember what they paid for it all those years ago. But then they get sticker shock when they turn around and say, I got to downsize, I want to try and get a patio home. And all of a sudden they get this sky-high price tag. They're taking a look at, you know, $600,000-$700,000 in many cases for a floor plan, 1,700 square feet. And they're like, I'm going from this big house into a smaller one, and I might end up with, you know, $200,000-$300,000 in mortgage at this stage of my life. And you've seen the other alternative, which is to go into like a townhome or a senior apartment or things like that, where people are sharing walls. And so now after 30 years of having your own home and doing the perimeter walk every night, we all do, and locking the doors, making sure everything's safe and put away for the night. And now you're hearing like noises from the apartment next door that you're not used to. You got cooking odors, you got, you know, somebody's up at 2 o'clock in the morning banging around, and now you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that's a real change. So where we're at is kind of the Goldilocks position, where we've got a community environment where people can live together. It's affordable. We have prices from under $200,000 up to, say, $269,900 for a couple of the homes that we've been talking about with you lately, where you get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with a 2.5-car attached garage, $269,900 starting point. So manageable price points where people can move in, get the amenities they need, and also live in a community that's a 55-plus community, so they can make friends that are similar in age and interest with them, and kind of the socialization in that last third of life is the other thing that we bring to the table.
You know, one of the other things I think about, Noel, when I think about these things is homeowner associations. You know, when you have certain rules you can do, like for instance, pets. You know, is Rock Oak pet friendly? Do you have a backyard? Some people like to tinker. They like to mow the lawn. They like to, it's gardening season. You know what I mean? Give us an idea of that. Exactly.
And those are all great questions. And those are things that we can provide. You can have dogs and cats and pets because you're not in a single building. You have your own 4 walls. We work with people. You know, if you got 3 giant Great Danes, maybe that's too much for the type of the community size that's there. But for most folks, they're going to enjoy their furry friends the same way. When it comes to your backyard and cooking out on the patio, you have all that thing. You can garden, you have your own lot. It's basically typically a 76 by 100 lot. So it's a nice suburban lot size. One that typically you don't see in Clarence, where you've got larger acre and 2-acre lots. And for a lot of our people, they just can't keep up the maintenance of that bigger lot anymore, but they still like to putter around and take care of their home and improve it. And there's wonderful gardeners. We do garden walks all the time. So all the things people are looking for to kind of give them that sense of home, and it's their own place to live. And they live in a community where they have like-minded people, but they can still come in home at night when they want and have their own 4 walls.
You know, you bring up a good point, because we all saw during COVID, there was this social isolation, you know, and it really bothered people. I mean, young people, old people alike. So what do you think community means to seniors as far as Rock Oak is concerned?
Well, I'll tell you in the way that I think about my own family and my mom as she was getting older. And we would be out somewhere and she'd run into somebody from her generation, and they would just start talking about the events of the day. And they had the same kind of framework. They grew up at the same time. They remember things the same way. They went through the same life experiences, like World War II. You know, and I always say they remember when Kennedy was shot, and that was their generation. And so it was very easy for her to strike up a friendship because there were so many commonalities in place. And now myself, like I joke, my generation, I remember when the space shuttle blew up the first time, and that's what we all do. I'm in my late 50s now, and I look more and more as I get older to the experiences that I saw when I was younger, observing the people that were doing it well. My mom really did it well. She made a lot of friends late in life that really kept her going and made the quality of her life so good. And when you're talking about isolation, that is a real problem, particularly for seniors, because, you know, your friend sizes can get smaller, or you can become more isolated if you, say, are out on a country road and now you're not driving as much. Well, days may pass by where you don't see people. And in this environment here, you've got smaller lot sizes, you got neighbors. We really feature a lot of floor plans with front porches, for example, so that people get up to sit outside and meet their neighbors. We want them to face the community.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. We only have about 30 seconds or so left, but they used to say, let's get together and play canasta. Now they say, let's get together and play pickleball. That's what people are talking about. Things really change. How do people find out more about Rock Oak in our final?
Well, we'd love them to come out and see us. We're right on Main Street in Clarence. They can just follow Main Street down to Rockland Avenue and take the signs in and come see us at our Model Home Center. They can give us a call at our phone number is 716-759-1682, or they can visit us online at rockoak.com.
All right, very good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Again, for more information and answers to your questions, contact Rock Oak of Clarence by calling 716-759-1682 or go to rockoak.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by the following. I'm Joe Chile. You can listen to me mornings on the Big Weck. Joining us today on the Big Weck Buffalo on the Rise is Sherry Zilio. Sherry, I want to make sure I get this right because you're the owner and board-certified health and wellness coach.
Yes.
How often do people refer to you as that? I mean, do you have your
Hardly
husband
ever.
say that? Oh,
No.
just wondering out of curiosity. It's great to talk about diets. It's great to talk about things, that people, they always want to say. That's one of the best things, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to really work at it. I just want it to happen magically. Do they come up and do people ask you if there's a guarantee?
They do. They do.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Come on.
There's no guarantee. You have to work at it. It takes diligence to lose weight and to keep it off. That's the hardest part.
That's the thing, when you talk about Diet Mentor, I mean, how does it differentiate from some of the different products that are out there now?
Well, number one is we don't use any type of shots, pills, lasers, or anything like that. It is a lifestyle change. You have to learn to control everything you put in your mouth, portion control, and just proper nutrition.
That's the toughest thing. I think, especially like if you're living by yourself and you're making dinner, oftentimes it's not really portioned for just like one person.
Right.
So then you take and you put the rest in the refrigerator and, then it's like 8 o'clock at night and you go, I'm a little hungry and maybe I'll go pick and...
That's a no-no.
Not good.
Right.
Not a good thing. So it's got to be something that, and we hear all of these things too, where, you follow a specific diet, you lose weight. You say, wow, now I can go on the maintenance plan. Well, sometimes the maintenance plan means to you is that, I can just go back to doing everything I did before.
No, your weight will come back very quickly. So we teach people how to lose weight and then we educate them on how to keep it off, and it is a lifestyle change. So once they lose their weight with us, they get to keep coming for free for as long as they need, and we're going to help them keep it off. We're going to educate them, motivate them. Nobody teaches anybody proper nutrition. Even doctors don't learn proper nutrition.
What about, food plans and things like this? Do you have plans that, that are, there's buzzwords now, I can't eat this and I can't eat that and I have to be, I don't even know all the words for it, but, or if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic or whatever, do you figure out all those things in advance?
We do, we can work around it. We
Really?
have so many different things: gluten intolerance, peanut allergies, IBS, Crohn's disease. We can work around it.
It's just so many things. It's like alphabet soup out there now. Now, what about injectables for weight loss? I mean, I saw something just recently, just a couple of days ago, that says, people are quick to jump on these things. And then what happens if 10 years down the road, you didn't take that?
There's a lot of side effects with that, and actually it hasn't been studied very long, so they're not really sure yet what the long-term side effects are. But the side effects with Diet Mentor is more energy, you're not hungry, you sleep better, and your health improves.
What do you think is one of the biggest things that people have to accomplish? Is it portion control? Is it what they eat? Is it how late they eat?
It's a little bit of everything.
Is it?
A lot of people don't learn portion control. They just think they can eat whatever they want, whenever they want, however much. And you can't eat like that. Food is nutrition only. It's not comfort, it's not love, and that's what a lot of people use food as. Stress relief, that's another one.
I can kind of understand that. They say, in dieting, right? And, when Thanksgiving comes up or Christmas comes up or something like that, that maybe you can eat a little normal, a little more normal for that day. So then sometimes I just wish for more holidays.
Yeah, we all wish there was more holidays. You can still indulge with my program once you're in maintenance, but it's got to be the exception and not the norm. That's the problem with our society, is we're all eating like every day is Christmas or Easter or whatever holiday you like to enjoy. So.
The other thing is, the old saying, when you go grocery shopping, don't be hungry when you go grocery shopping.
Oh, never. It's the worst thing you could do.
Oh, God, because then you go and you buy all these things, and afterwards you're like, did I really want this? Did I really need this?
You'll come home with a bunch of stuff that you never intended purchasing, and then you'll feel like you have to eat it. You'll start your diet when you're done eating it.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
So who is Diet Mentor good for?
It's good for everybody. Anybody that wants to lose weight and get healthy and learn a healthy lifestyle and keep that weight off. And again, that is free to do our program, to do the maintenance part. And I have people that have been coming since we opened in 2016. They still come every month for their free maintenance plan. So.
And you look great. So do you do the program?
I do.
Really?
do.
You seriously do?
Yes, I lost 42 pounds in 4 months. I've kept that off now for 8 years. And once in a while I have to do a tune-up because, old habits die hard. I still love to eat. And sometimes, the bad things sneak in and I do a tune-up. I like to teach people to take immediate corrective action when a little bit of weight comes on and instead of waiting for all your weight to come back. So I lost 42 pounds. Usually the 5 to 10 pound mark, that's when I'll do a tune-up. I call it a tune-up. I'll go back on my plan for maybe a month and I'll get my weight rate back down.
Tune-up, I like that. I need to get my front end lifted.
Think about it. We have to tune up our cars. We have to tune up our house. Why not tune up yourself and your health?
1 minute left. How do people get started?
Call 500 Diet and we will set up a free info appointment. You can always stop in at one of our locations, Amherst, Lockport, or Hamburg. Our location addresses are on our website. You can just call us. We'll answer any questions. A lot of our information is on our website, dietmentor.com. The best way I would say is to call 500 Diet, schedule that free info appointment. It's free, there's no obligation, and most people join at that appointment.
For more information and answers to your questions, contact Diet Mentor by calling 716-500-DIET or go to dietmentor.com. Sponsorship and promotional considerations for the preceding segment was provided by the following.
Thanks for watching this edition of the Big Wack Presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigwack.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chili. Thanks for watching and listening to the Big Wack, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big Wack Presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.